I vividly remember the change of seasons, that moment when nature itself seems to breathe a sigh of relief in transition. It was late September when I found myself trudging back into my family's home after 2 long months at camp. I should have been excited, but instead, a sinking dread filled my chest as I stepped inside. My parents' surprised faces greeted me, but their joy was overshadowed by an undeniable tension in the air. "Jake, you're home?" My mother murmured, her eyes filled with a mixture of relief and something else I couldn't quite place. It struck me then how she stepped forward, dropping to her knees to embrace me, as if she were clutching someone she thought she had lost. It felt strange, almost too emotional. My father lurked in the background, standing stiffly in the shadow of the doorway. He turned abruptly, locking himself in his den without a word. The sudden retreat was daunting. It screamed of disappointment, of anger buried deep beneath his silent facade. I could hardly blame him. Not long before camp, I had crossed a line I knew I shouldn't have. I had led some friends into the attic one grim evening, and in a clumsy attempt to impress them, I knocked over an old box filled with my father's belongings, leaving the contents scattered like my resolve. I had never meant for the evening to blow up in my face. The muffled sound of a glass frame hitting the wooden floor echoed in my ears, just like the harsh lecture that followed. "You think this is a game? You could have destroyed something irreplaceable." He had barked at me. As a punishment, he sent me away to camp, a desperate escape for both of us. I couldn't shake off that memory as I stood there, waiting for my parents' warmth to cut through the icy tension. Later, as I sat weighed down by silence, a soft knock pulled me from my thoughts. I opened the door to find my sister, Mia, holding a plate of cookies. "Mom said to bring these to you," she remarked casually, though her eyes darted nervously. At 17, she held a certain aloofness, her hair dyed a wild electric blue that contrasted starkly with her vividly painted nails. "You okay?" she asked, eyes searching for something beyond the surface. I nodded, even as a knot formed in my stomach. "You know they really freaked out when you disappeared," she continued, her voice dropping. "You're back now. That's all that matters, right?" I wondered if that was true, or if her attempts at comfort were merely a cover for their anxious hearts. The house hummed with quiet once more, a symphony of comfortable family chaos paused. As I plopped onto the couch, thoughts of camp began to flood back. Camp Ash would have been different, its charm tinged with an unsettling edge. I couldn't shake off the feeling that the forest surrounding the camp had eyes, watchful and hungry. My first few days there blurred with the echoes of laughter, nature hikes, and the dusty cabins where we slept. But it was during one of the last campfire storytelling sessions that things changed. An older counselor, with her dark curls tumbling wildly past her shoulders, spun tales of the lost one, a spirit set to wander the edges of Ashwood, luring children deeper into the woods. It was said that if you heard its voice, you should never follow it. It preys on the unsuspecting, she explained. I felt a shiver crawl up my spine. And if you do follow, you may discover something far worse than a mere ghost, she added ominously. That night, the wind howled as I closed my eyes, but sleep didn't come easy. I kept dreaming of the woods, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. One fateful afternoon, I lagged behind my group during a hiking excursion, lost in thought about the stories we had heard. "Jake!" A voice shattered the stillness around me. "Jake, over here!" It was unmistakable, the voice of the older counselor, Anna. Her voice was tinged with urgency. I felt my heart race. "Is that you, Anna?" I called back, the urge to help breaking through my hesitation. I followed the call, veering off the trail, the vibrant foliage closing in around me. Minutes passed, shadows lengthened, and I realized too late that I was completely lost. I stumbled back in a flurry of leaves and branches, but I couldn't find my way. Just as despair began gripping my chest, I saw a glimpse of movement ahead of me, Anna. "Please, come this way," she beckoned. Her figure faded in and out like a flickering flame. I felt compelled to follow, but something inside warned me. "Wait," I hesitated, sensing something was profoundly wrong. Suddenly, her voice shifted. "I need your help, Jake," it whispered, sharp and demanding, twisting my very soul. "No." I backed away, now realizing she wasn't who she seemed. I turned and broke into a panicked sprint, branches tearing at my clothes, the woods closing in behind me. Desperate breaths filled my lungs as I fought the darkness around me, finally hearing the blessed sounds of my campmates' voices in the distance. Gasping, I burst back onto the familiar trail, exhilarated and terrified. When I returned home, the warmth of my mother's hug should have melted the fear, but it didn't. Instead, my heart sank. I saw my father, face pale, sitting rigidly in his den. The unease that twisted in my gut only tightened when I realized he wasn't alone. Flashes of memory pulsed in my mind, shadows in the forest, voices creeping out from the darkness. Then came the unmistakable sound of glass shattering, slicing through the grim reality, knotting my insides. "Mia!" I shouted, scrambling toward the den, but she was already gone, and silent panic enveloped the house. In the eerie quiet that followed, I felt dread pierce through me. Just as I reached for the phone, the walls echoed with the hollow sound of my sister's ragged breath. "Jake!" Mia cried. "You shouldn't be here. It's not you." "He's not." Her voice broke off, unable to finish the terrible thought. My heart raced. "What do you mean?" Before she could answer, the line went dead. I dropped the phone like a scalding ember, a sick realization dawning on me. What I had faced in the woods had come home with me. I felt the atmosphere shift, the air thick with an energy I could hardly describe. As a heavy footstep creaked from the den, my pulse quickened. No, this wasn't happening. I turned, desperately searching for answers, but the fear coiled tighter, trapping me as whispers filled the room. "Jake! Help me!" In that moment of realization, I stood frozen in place, horror washing over me, knowing the thing that had beckoned in the woods was waiting for me now. I was no longer certain where I belonged, lost between two worlds. It lurked just out of sight, and as I recalled the stories of the lost one, I knew what I had to face, and whispers grew stronger. Just as my heart sank, I understood. Some things are better left in the darkness, but I couldn't turn away. Not now. The truth was a path I had to walk, and it led me closer to the thing I thought I had conquered.